Hello guys, and welcome back to another video. And in today's video, this is what we are going to build. We are going to use React, Tailwind CSS and Vite. Okay, we are not going to use any API for this project, and we are going to use TypeScript as well. So what this does is, as the title states, it gets the YouTube thumbnail for whichever video you enter the URL. So let's say, so I have this video right over here where I collaborated with my friend Sanjay Raj on his channel. I uploaded this video of building the secret language translator. It was a very simple application. You can go and check it out if you haven't already. I'll leave the link in the description and in the cards above. So what we can do is we can just right click and copy video URL. So that copies the video link, and then if I paste this and if I click on get, it gets that thumbnail. And if I want to download it, I can just simply save image, and I can even copy image, and I can do all that stuff. It gets the YouTube thumbnail very easily and then displays it right over here. Let's say I have another video. So let's say this video, this is my latest video of how to use routing loader and all that stuff in Next.js. Now right over here we copied video URL via this. Okay, so the video URL is kind of shortened like this. It's like this. But if we copy it from the address bar and then paste it and then hit get, you'll see it still works. And that's how easy it is to do this. And we are not using any API or any backend. It's very simple. It's totally front end. So let's start with this thing, and we are also going to deploy it to Netlify, or maybe whichever you say. You can say Netlify Vercel or whatever you say. I'm going to choose Netlify if nothing comes from your side. So let's get started. Okay, so right over here on my screen I have the Windows terminal open, and by the way, if you are thinking yes, this is Windows 11, the official one, I entered in the Windows Insiders program and then I upgraded to Windows 11, and it feels very fine. So there are no issues until now, and there are quite a few bugs here and there, but it's fine. So we are going to do this. So first of all, I'm going to create the application. So we are not going to use create React app. Instead of create React app, we are going to use something called Vite, and Vite is actually a very fast, or you can say a very fast development server, and also builds a very small build so that our app is faster. So there is nothing which is very extra inside of Vite. So let's say npm init. Now if you haven't used Vite in before, don't worry, just follow this tutorial. It's very easy. So that's how you do this. npm init at vitejs/app, and then hit enter, and that will start the scaffolding. Okay, and then it will ask you what's the project name and then what technology you'll use. So I'll name this project YT thumbnail. Actually, let's just say get YT thumbnail, and then we will choose React and React TS because we are going to use TypeScript. So what you do is you just cd into get YT thumbnail, and then here you need to install all the dependencies. So just say npm install or even npm I, whatever, both of these will work. It will get installed very quickly, so you don't need to worry about that. So this is installed very fast. It was only 19 seconds in my case. If you have a faster internet, it will be very fast. So let's go ahead and open it in Visual Studio Code with code dot. Okay, that's the command. And now I can close Windows Terminal. We don't need that because we have the terminal inside of Visual Studio Code. So yes, I trust the authors. And then I can open up the terminal. I am using the control backtick command. Okay, so to start the development server, we are going to use npm run dev, but even before that we are going to set up Tailwind CSS because we are using Tailwind in this project. So right over here on their website, install Tailwind CSS with Vue 3 and Vite. We are not using Vue 3, but we are using Vite, so there is no difference actually. If we set up in Vite React or Vite Vue, or whatever. So let's say first of all it's the initializing of the project, then we need to install these dependencies as dev dependencies. So I'll just copy and paste these here, and after they get installed, what I need to do is I need to run this command so that it generates tailwind config and post.css config.js. And so when it's done, and also we are going to use the just-in-time mode. And this just-in-time mode, what it is if you can just check this video out. I will have the info card up there. So what you can do is you can just check this video out, where the author of Tailwind CSS, he explains how the just-in-time mode will change Tailwind completely. It will make it very fast so that you don't lag in even in your browser, and then the final purge will be also very fast. So that's installed. Now let's run this command to get the two config files set up. And now what you can do is you can just copy this purge. Okay, so which files to get? So I can just go to tailwind.config.js and then just replace this line with the line we copied. And once that is done, we'll enter the JIT, which is the just-in-time mode. Okay, so what we can do is we can just add a mode of JIT in the Tailwind config, so to basically get that. Now we can just copy these all these things, and then we can add it to the index.css file in here. Okay, and so let's delete some files that we don't need. We don't need the logo.svg. Okay, let's see, we don't need app.css because all of the styles will be in Tailwind. So let's remove these two imports because we have also removed them. And let's remove everything inside of return. Okay, so we'll just return an empty div for now, and then let's remove the state. Let's remove this because in this video we'll just design everything, and the functionality part will be done in the next video, in the next part. So after all that is done, now Tailwind is set up, so I can just run npm run dev to start the development. So, and this will be very fast, trust me. Okay, so let's just close both of these tabs, even this just-in-time mode. So the development started, the dev server has started very quickly, and here is our app. Okay, it's loading for some reason, but it's still empty. As you can see, it is totally empty. Now what we can do is we can add content. So the first thing we'll do is I'll close both of these, and I'll go ahead and create a new components folder so that we can store all of our components right in there. So first one is going to be the header. So I'm going to say header.tsx because we are using TypeScript, remember. Okay, we use tsx as our extension. So let's close this up. Now we need to set this component up. Now I'm using RAFCE, that's the snippet that comes from the extension. It comes from this extension, ES7 React Redux GraphQL React Native Snippets. You can just install this extension in VS Code, and it has a bunch of snippets, very easy one. Okay, so we've got this header, and now we'll style it. Actually, we'll make the whole one. So first of all, we will add a header tag, of course, because this is a header. And on the header tag, let me just zoom in so that you can see what's going on properly. And we'll add a class name. So we'll add a bunch of class names because this is Tailwind. Okay, so I'm going to add a background, so bg red 800, that's the background. And then I'll add rounded b lg, I guess, rounded b 2xl. That's what we're going to add. So that basically gives border radius to our header, to the bottom of the header. Then we'll add a padding of 5, which is p5, and then a shadow of xl. So that's our header main, the header tag done. Now let's create an h1 which will hold our text. So I'll say get YouTube thumbnail, and also we had an icon. So the icons we will get are from the React icons package. So let me just go ahead and install it. you can just say npm install react icons. That's the package name. It will get installed on its own, and let's style this until it gets installed. So I'll just say class name, and then for this one we'll just say text center. Then we'll add the size of the text, which is 4XL. okay, that's how large I want it to be. And then I can specify the color, text gray 100, so that on this red background we have this looking good. So we're going to add font bold. That's how we can add that font bold, and then we can add the other properties later on. Now I hope we got this installed. Really nice. So let's import that icon. So you can just say import something from React icons slash, and it has a lot of these. We are going to choose fi, which is feather icons. So we have the YouTube, fi YouTube. So let's just add this icon right over here inside of the h1. That's what we are doing. And let's add some class name to this one also. So the class names, so basically we'll have mr4 margin right 4, so that it shifts there a little bit. And then we'll add the width of 16 and the height of 16 to this. And after doing that, if we go inside of app and let's just go ahead and say header, that will automatically import it. And let's go back, and you will see that we have this header right over here, but they are not aligned correctly. So to align them correctly, we are going to use flexbox. So in this h1 itself, I'm going to display this as flex, and then I'll say items center and justify center. That's all you need to do, and it looks good. Now we have the shadow and then the radius and all that stuff. So after the header is done, let's just close this out. We don't need to take a look at this again. Okay, so after the header, let's get into another section, which is the input URL. So before doing that, I will store everything except the header in a container, and for that I will create a main tag, and for the main tag I'll give it the class name of, let's say, container, the first class name, and then mx auto to center it completely, and then we'll add margin top of 8 to get away from the header a bit. Okay, so now let's create a component. I'll say that's input url.tsx, where the user will input their URL. So I'll just say rafce again. Here the user will have the URL. So for that we are going to create a form. So let's just replace this with a form tag, and let's add the input which we'll need, and this will be of type URL, not text. Then we are going to add a button, of course, for the submit thing. So let's say get in the button, and now let's add two extra things, which are the icons. First one will be the clear button. If it is clicked, then the field will be cleared, and the other will be just an icon for the input. So I'll just import the icon. So I'll just say import again something from React icons slash fi, the same package to be consistent. So we'll import fi link, okay, that's the first icon, and then fix, that's the second icon. This is for the clear one, and this is for a simple link icon that we had if you saw in the demo. So we'll add the fi link right over here. Really nice, really simple. And after this one, let's also add the button. So I'll just add another button, and this will have a type of button. Remember why? Because we don't want to submit the form when we click on this button, so that's why you specify the type to be button. And we are just going to say, we are just going to have the fix right over here. So right now this will be completely unstyled. Let's just go ahead and let's just say input URL, like this. Okay, it will be completely unstyled. So we'll go back to the browser, and as you can see, everything is just very messed up. Let's style this with Tailwind CSS. Completely easy. So I'll just add a few class names on the form first of all, and the first one will be relative and the other one will be flex. Basically, relative means it will be position relative, so everything which is positioned absolute inside of this one will remain inside of this one. Okay, so it's easy to position both of these guys. Okay, we want to position them absolute. So after doing that, let's say class name for this link icon, first one will be absolute so that we can position it wherever we want, and then we can add top of 3 so that it comes down 3 times or whatever is the value, top 3, and it will be left 2, and then we'll specify the width and height, which is width 6 and height 6. So now if you take a look, it's not going to be looking good because we also have the input to style. So let's style the input very first of all. I'll just say class name right over here, and for the input, first of all I'll add border of 2, then I'll say border or gray or 600, border gray 600, that will be the color, and then I'll add outline none, and then when it is focused, so focus, I'm going to add border red 600. Then also when it is focused, I'll add rounded of 2xl. Okay, so what does this do? Well, if I go back and you see, when I focus it, it changes the border and then it rounds the input. So we'll also add the rounded default one, rounded LG, so that it has the border radius by default. We'll add some padding, so P2 for that, and then we'll add W full to have the full width of this one. As you can see, it looks good now. So let's have a transition for this when we focus it. So let's say transition all. That's how you do that, and it has a little transition at that point. Then also let's go back and we'll add padding left of 10 so that we have some padding right over here, and then we'll add the text, the size of the text, so text will be XL. Okay, that will be the size of the text. And then let's also go to this button, and then I'll add a class name of absolute so that this one also floats around wherever we want it to be. So as you can see, the link is now in the right position. What we want now in the right position is this button. So let's style this button now. So we'll have absolute, we'll have top of 2 so that it comes down a little bit, we'll have right of 40, actually 40, and then we will have the width and height. So width will be 6 and height will be 6. Actually the width and height are going to be 8, width will be 8 and height will be 8. That's what I like it to be. And then we'll add a hover effect, so hover bg gray 300, that will be the background when it is hovered. And finally let's add a simple rounded class. So that is our button, hopefully done. And so as you can see, it is floating right over here. Let's go to this right over here, and then let's say class name is going to be simply, we'll add a margin left of 2 ml2. Okay, like this. And so after doing that, this will be our button. It is not aligned correctly because of this button right over here. So let's style this. Basically everything is dependent on everything. Okay, so let's go on to this button and we'll add a class name again as always, and then we'll say bg red 600 to add a background to this. Okay, and then I'll say text white, which is the color inside of this button. Then we'll add text XL for the size, then we'll add the width 40. Let's take a look how this looks like. Here we go, looks nice. And then we'll make it rounded, of course, with rounded to XL, so that it's more rounded, and then when it is hovered, the rounded will become rounded will go LG, so the round will, when it is hovered, it will grow larger a bit. And we'll add a transition of all so that it has the transition as before, and when it is active it will have a BG, again BG red of 500. Okay, so when we click it, it's going to be like that. And also in here, let's add MR2, margin right 2 on the input, so that we have some space between these two things. All awesome, this is done. Let's add a placeholder to the input, enter the video, enter video URL here. And so here we go, we are done with the header, we are done with this input, and we are going to add the functionality later on, hopefully in the next video, for the next part of this series, a very simple series. Let's remove this, and both of these things are done. Yes, the image is not right over here, the image component. We are going to create another component for to display the image and to style it a little bit. I hope this video helped you. Please leave a like, and so put your suggestions down in the comments below, put your questions down in the comments below, so if you have any, so that I can help you with those. And finally, thanks for watching.